freaking year. What better place to finish than in one of the cornerstone franchises of the NFL in the city that expects you to win.
And a little bit of a newsy offseason in Pittsburgh, and our Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor has been covering it all. She joins us today on NFL Live. Brooke, Steelers report to camp in Latrobe next week. I know you'll be there. What will Aaron Rodgers find there that might surprise him?
Well, Mina just used the phrase 42 years old and uncomfortable together, and something else that is going to make a 42-year-old uncomfortable is sleeping in an XL twin bed is what he'll be doing, because when the Steelers report to Latrobe, the players live in the dorms. There has been, I believe, one exception of a guy that didn't stay in the dorms one time. That was Antonio Brown. I think that is an exception, not the rule in this situation. And not only is Rodgers going to be in a dorm bed, but he's also going to be practicing at the hottest part of the day. Mike Tomlin moved practice back to 1:55, goes from 1:55 to 4 p.m. When he was in Green Bay and in New York, his practices were mid-morning, which is when they were last year in Latrobe, by the way. But Mike Tomlin was asked, hey, why'd you shift practices back to the afternoon? And he said, well, it wasn't hot enough. It wasn't miserable enough. So I don't know if Aaron Rodgers enjoys being miserable. I can tell you, though, related to the beds, when he was in Green Bay, he was so vocal about sleeping in hotel beds before home games in a way that he did not want to. He said, I have a nice mattress at home. I want to sleep in that one. That instead, Matt LaFleur made it so that vets did not have to sleep at the hotels the night before games. And now Aaron Rodgers is going to be in a twin XL mattress in a dorm room. Maybe he can bring his own, but it's going to be an adjustment.
Hey, Brooke, I love you, Brooke, because that is some detailed reporting. Let me shed a little light on this. Number one, anytime you go to the dorm and move in the dorm room, Aaron Rodgers has made enough money he can bring his own bed, pay somebody to come in there, bring it, set it up, and clean his room every night. So I'm not concerned about the bed. As far as the time of day, it can be 110 degrees. He's a quarterback. Tim can tell you this, ain't nobody touching him during practice whatsoever anyway. He's not going to even have his chin strap buckled. So the fact that it's 105 degrees does not affect the quarterback. It's going to affect the big dudes on the offense and the defensive line. So cry me a pity party for a guy that's made $250 million, who's got to bring his own mattress in, and he's got to come out and stand around during the hottest part of the day. I love the reporting, Brooke, but cry me a river. Come on now.
Let me tell you, I learned this early on. I learned that the last thing a quarterback needs to do is whine about training camp with a bunch of 300-pounders with a bunch of equipment on, leaning on each other all afternoon. Like, that is the worst mistake ever. Listen, Book probably lost 10 pounds of sweat every practice. So like, that's not, like,
no question.
All quarterbacks need to stay away from that one, because he's exactly right. The chin strap is not buckled. There's a few water breaks. QB Indy is a little bit different than what Book was going through. And look, and I think for Aaron Rodgers, like at this point, how that team is built, what Pittsburgh wants. Look, here's what, like, they just need to get good, solid, consistent quarterback play. Does he need to be an MVP candidate? No. But can Aaron Rodgers, have a season where he throws 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions? He's absolutely capable of that. And if you get that type of production and don't put your defense in a bad spot, Pittsburgh can be pretty dangerous.
I want to make Booger happy, Brooke, by asking you about a guy on defense, TJ Watt. His contract extension situation continues to linger as camp is just around the corner. What do you expect to happen next week with TJ Watt, if anything?
Well, I'm going to give Booger a little bit more detailed reporting here. When the Steelers report, they drive up to the dorm and carry their stuff in, but it's kind of a long driveway. You can see the cars come in from a little bit of ways. So that's what we're going to be doing Wednesday morning, is keeping an eye on those cars to see what's driving in. I'm going to be looking to see if TJ Watt's SUV is coming down the driveway, because it didn't park in the parking lot at minicamp in Pittsburgh. And that's a sign to me that this contract negotiation is very contentious. This is not a done deal. The Steelers typically try to run out the clock and get these deals done right before the start of the regular season. Once week 1 hits, they do not negotiate contracts. So it's not even an arbitrary deadline. That is their drop dead deadline. So we'll see if he shows up. Maybe he can help move Aaron Rodgers' mattress into the building.
Maybe they'll put that in the contract, and that'll help get it done. Who knows? There's a lot going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have failed to win a playoff game in 8 straight seasons, which is their longest such drought since the 1970 merger. So a lot still has to come together there. Brooke Pryor will be following it all for you on ESPN. The Sports Humanitarian Awards, now in their 11th year, they're a platform that celebrates the athletes, teams, and sports industry professionals who make an impact on their communities and throughout the world. The Indianapolis Colts are a finalist for Team of the Year, competition in the NFC. Last year, Green Bay was 0-6 against the top 3 teams in the NFC and 11-1 against everyone else in the league. Jordan Love had no touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the season-ending playoff loss to the eventual Super Bowl champion Eagles. Green Bay putting up a season-low 10 points in that wild card game defeat. So Rob Domofsky, who covers the Packers for us, is here. Rob, Jordan Love looked like maybe took something of a step back last year, according to the numbers we're looking at least. What are the Packers saying about where he is in his development?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan. Don't tell Jordan Love he took a step back without being prepared to back it up. And that's noteworthy because he never challenges anything, but for the first time since he's been in Green Bay, including the 2 years that he's been a starter, he fought back on that idea this offseason, and he said, what is a step back? I mean, we won more games than we did the year before, so I ask you, what is a step back? But Matt LaFleur, as coach, knows that it's out there. He even said there is this perception, for whatever reason, that he wasn't as productive. The reason might have been, according to LaFleur, that he had that knee injury in week 2, but he had a lot of time to recover from that, and he was only so-so for the rest of the way. Now, this is year 3 for him as a starter, and we all know what Aaron Rodgers did in year 3, right? Super Bowl.
Yeah. Booger?
Yeah, I don't know if when we talk about a step back, I think we need to talk about the step forward, because that's where he needs to go. Because he's been given his money. They continue to go out and surround him with weapons. They took Matthew Golden from Texas in the first round, who ran 4.29, so a lot of speed. You're going to get Christian Watson back at some point. They got a plethora of wide receivers. So at what point, if you're Jordan Love, can you continue to take that next step? Matt LaFleur, one of the better play callers in the National Football League. So if I were him, I wouldn't even be concerned about a step back. How can you continue to take the step forward? Because that's where your pace says you need to be, and that's where the team says you need to be in order for them to take the next step.
It's worth noting the Packers had the youngest roster in the league last year with an average age under 26. He's the mayor, Rob Domofsky. We're going to go to Minnesota now. The runway is clear for J.J. McCarthy to finally see some regular season action after he missed his entire rookie season with a torn meniscus sustained in last year's preseason. McCarthy, just the 4th top 10 quarterback this century who didn't make any starts at all as a rookie, and the first one of those in 13 years. We are joined now by Ben Solak and our Vikings reporter, Kevin Seifert, covering all things Vikings. Excuse me. Kevin, the story of the Vikings offseason is the change under center. Sam Darnold off to Seattle. J.J. McCarthy taking over. What are you seeing on the ground there?
2 things, arm strength and personal magnetism. To the extent that people thought that J.J. McCarthy's arm strength was not up to par from what they saw in Michigan, I know there was some pre-draft analysis that suggested that. I did not see that during minicamp, during OTAs. The ball was being delivered on time, with strength, with velocity, and just don't take my word for it. Asking Justin Jefferson about it, who I think is kind of more important than my take. He said if he had one thing that he learned about J.J. McCarthy this offseason, it was that his arm strength is plenty good and will get him the ball wherever he needs it. If anything, he needs to slow the ball down a little bit and put some more touch on it. And the personal magnetism thing, J.J. McCarthy is somebody who I think we found out that people want to be around, they want to talk to, they want to be led by, they want to entrust the team to. People in Michigan probably know that already and that watched his career there. But I think that already has taken place in the Vikings locker room. And again, don't take it from me. Harrison Smith, their 36-year-old safety, who's a decade and a half older than J.J. McCarthy. They have lockers right next to each other in the locker room. And he said that he is a very interesting fellow. and he likes spending time with them. And if you pass the Harrison Smith test in the Vikings locker room, you're doing okay.
Yeah, having the traits is great for the rookie, but we talk about young quarterbacks. Destination is destiny, right? A lot of it is that landing spot where you grow. And we know the Vikings are about as QB-proof as it gets in the NFL. You have Justin Jefferson, best receiver in football, Jordan Addison, and T.J. Hawkinson as the secondary options. But what interests me is the fact that they really want to run the ball this year. You go back to that Michigan offense that J.J. played in. Kevin O'Connell talking this offseason, we need to be better on early downs. And that's the proof of the pudding is in their offseason, right? A whole new interior guard to guard. Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries. We're going to run the football. Trade for Jordan Mason. This team last year was second in pass rate over expectation with Sam Darnold. They threw the ball a ton. And for a rookie quarterback, you don't want to put him in those third and longs where he's going to get those big blitzes. So they're going to, I think, run the football a lot more and keep the plate for JJ small at first and then grow as the season goes on.
He'll try to keep it on track. Vikings won 14 games last year, second most in a season in their franchise history. That's Minnesota. We head to Detroit now, where head coach Dan Campbell lost both offensive and defensive coordinators to head coaching positions. Not unprecedented to have success after losing coordinators on both sides of the ball. Each of the last 3 teams to be in that position won double-digit games on their way to playoff appearances. So Detroit looking to do more than just make a playoff appearance. They're looking for a deeper run. The coordinator change is going to affect the Bears as well, as Detroit's offensive coordinator was Ben Johnson, who's now the head coach of the Bears. And to talk about all of that, we have our Lions reporter, Eric Woodyard, and our Bears reporter, Courtney Cronin, with us now. So, Eric, what's the feeling in New York after losing both coordinators? How are they moving forward?
They're moving forward like it's winning a Super Bowl right now. I mean, Dan Campbell and these guys, although they lost both coordinators, they feel like the DNA has been built. Although Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson have gone, they feel like they're bringing in guys that they're familiar with.